The report contains a poll of Philadelphians from virtually every neighborhood of the city. The idea being to find out how Philadelphians perceive their police. Overall, about 70% of those surveyed feel good about the police, but that figure varies widely from one neighborhood to another. We have two reports from two neighborhoods tonight, from Harry Martin and Chris Wagner.
The citizens of Northeast Philadelphia, as a group, gave the highest ratings in the city to their police officers, 87% saying they were doing either a good or excellent job.
I think the police generally are very good in this area. Anytime there's any trouble or fights or anything, they come right out and break everything up.
We see a lot of cops around here. They're always moving, on patrol.
Nice and courteous, helpful, and it seems like most of the children have respect for them. That's important.
The story was the same in the neighborhoods and along the commercial strips I visited today in the Northeast. The police presence meant a lot to the residents here, both the patrol cars and places like the Police Athletic League Center or the Police and Fire Medical Association. Many officers live in the Northeast and thus are real people, neighbors to the rest of the population. Most of those I talked to today do not consider violent crime to be much of a problem here. They say they want a feeling of safety, a quick, courteous response when they have trouble, and they told me they get it.
They do try to keep people off the street, especially in the recreation centers, and here they protect our business with the underage drinking, etc. And they're concerned. If a problem happens, you call the police department. They are here to help you.
I found happy citizens in Northeast Philadelphia. What Harry Martin found in another Philadelphia neighborhood is another story altogether.
They treat us like animals. That's what some members of the Hispanic community here in the Spring Garden section of the city say about the way that they are treated by the Philadelphia Police Department. It was just last night when police, armed with a search warrant, broke down the door of Carmen Santiago. She says they ransacked her house and injured her 5-year-old daughter when they smashed in her front door looking for drugs. Police say that no one was arrested.
There's nothing in my house where they could come and break in my house like that, get my kids hurt, and get me hurt. And they didn't find nothing at all.
How'd you get the bump on your head?
Pushed in the door.
Who pushed in the door?
The cop.
Madeline Rosario claims police did the same thing to her house several weeks ago.
They just come looking for drugs, but they didn't even find drugs or nothing. They just took my brother in.
They didn't show the papers.
They didn't even show no papers or nothing.
Did they have a search warrant?
No, nothing.
Community leader Raul Serrano says that those are the kind of incidents which demonstrate the insensitivity of police patrolling this neighborhood. The roundup of drug suspects during Operation Cold Turkey was another.
That attitude needs to develop into a positive attitude, because we're not spick, we're not bums, we're human beings. We're trying to make it in the United States a place that, we're having difficulty making it.
There is no doubt that this is a high crime area. In fact, we had some equipment stolen while shooting this story. Nevertheless, Serrano says that police must be more sensitive to the people here before this powder keg blows up. Harry Martin, Channel 6 Action News, Spring Garden.
As you can imagine, reaction to the report came quickly today from the ranks of the Philadelphia PD. By and large, the police officers we spoke to saw the report in a positive light.
This type of report should have been done some time ago, a few years ago, and we wouldn't have this turmoil now that we're having.
I believe it was a first step to making the department more modern and up to date with the other police departments across the country.
We do need a change. I mean, a lot of things are maybe obsolete, backwards. We do need something.
Over at the headquarters of the Fraternal Order of Police, President Bob Hurst talked to reporter Lauren Madelon and seemed to support the basic recommendations but questioned the possibility of implementation.
But what the report is saying is that they have very good people within the department, very capable of doing the job, but in order to be drug in, if you will, to the 21st century, then they have to have some resources and some support and some guidance from the politicians, meaning the ad board, the city council has to start cracking some eggs if they're going to make an omelet.
We are now live with the man who commissioned the report, Police Commissioner Kevin Tucker. Commissioner, assuming that one were compelled to criticize this report process, couldn't one say that it is not an independent evaluation because you appointed the members of the task force who authored the report, and therefore it would be expected that the report would mirror your preconceptions?
You could say that. I don't think it would be a fair characterization. The people that were involved in this process, Henry Root, the former Watergate prosecutor, Rich Davis, the Undersecretary, Treasury and Law Enforcement in the Carter administration, outstanding business people in Philadelphia, John Tate, Bill Eagleson, Gerard and Mellenbank, the quality and character of the people involved, I think, clearly indicates it was their findings.
Commissioner, assuming that the mayor and the city council allow you to implement these recommendations, how long will it take to round your department into shape?
We can do some things very quickly. Obviously, other factors, other situations are going to take 3 to 5 years. In regards to facilities and technology, we can do some short-term things in regard to repairing facilities and doing some basic work in terms of technology, but those items are 3 to 5 years down the road, but there are some initial actions that can be taken.
Of course, money would be a factor. Commissioner, as far as I can tell, the report does not assign blame to specific individuals for the current state of the department, but there is an implied judgment about a long list of police commissioners before you. Now, my question is, do we blame history or do we blame specific individuals, including former Commissioner Frank Rizzo, for contributing to, quote, an under-trained, under-equipped, unfocused, and unaccountable police department?
Well, first of all, I agree with you that it's under-equipped. We need communications equipment. We need technology. We need the tools of the trade to do the job. I'm not about to blame anybody. I'm not going to let the past be an impediment to change. I'm looking to the future. I'm looking at this as an opportunity for this department to move ahead, to build a partnership with the people in the community that we serve, and to have one of the finest police departments in the country. And I think that's what this plan will allow us to do if we move forward together.
I appreciate the fact that you are upbeat and looking to the future, but I have to ask the question, do we blame your predecessors for the current state of the police department as articulated by the report?
Jim, if you're looking for people to blame, I think historically you can give blame and credit to, there's a host of people. I'm not going to get into that. I think it's counterproductive. I think there's enough credit and blame for everybody. I think we have to look to the future.
Police Commissioner Tucker, thank you for being with us. Mayor Wilson Goode has expressed a positive reaction to the report. He told Action News reporter Karen Friedman that the police department's problems were inherited from the Rizzo administration. Of course, there is a good chance Goode will face Rizzo in the mayoral campaign. Goode said it's not necessarily a problem of having enough resources, but how those resources are employed.
Very clearly is that we have enough police officers. We have enough personnel. It is what we do with the people that we have and how we utilize them that is the basis of the problem. And we therefore need to manage those resources better, redirect them, marry with that some new technology and new training, some new capital improvements on our buildings, and then you start to improve the overall police department.
Goode went on to say that the mindset of the police department must be changed and that he will support Commissioner Tucker as he goes about trying to reform the police department, as outlined in the report released today. A case of police corruption reared its ugly head in the Philadelphia courts. A former member of the Vice Squad, 40-year-old Maxie Logan, admitted to accepting more than $13,000 in bribes in 1984 and 85. Logan was charged with receiving monthly payoffs to protect 16 gambling operations in North and Southwest Philadelphia. Logan was a 15-year veteran working out of the North Central Police Division. He is free on bail pending his sentencing. The man who dropped the bomb on the Move House nearly 2 years ago went before the grand jury investigating that debacle today. Lieutenant Frank Powell of the Philadelphia Police Bomb Squad testified for about 6 hours today behind closed doors at City Hall. Afterward, Powell's attorney, Richard Malmud, said Powell testified without immunity from prosecution and that no immunity was ever offered. But Malmud says the present investigation is beginning to shape a different picture about events leading up to the Move fire than the picture left by the Move Commission hearings.
In my mind, there were so many inconsistencies at the Move Commission, I don't know that anybody can ever resolve all of them. But I think this will clear up a lot of things. Or had been asked.
Malmud wouldn't be more specific. The police officers involved took the Fifth Amendment when called to testify before the Move Commission. Still to come on Action News tonight, we will have reaction to that shocking revelation concerning former Villanova bank. Main recommendation, a massive overhaul of the department. The main description, quote, the department seems unfocused, unmanaged, undertrained, under-equipped, and unaccountable. The report was commissioned by Police Commissioner Kevin Tucker, and despite the gloomy words we just quoted, the chairman of the task force says the report is hardly a death knell.
In the overall, this is an optimistic report because there is nothing here that cannot be salvaged and made the best in the nation as this city deserves.
The report makes the point that total manpower is not the problem, that in fact, compared to other cities, Philadelphia is especially well stocked with police officers. In fact, the report says the city commits more money and more officers than virtually any other large city in America. The problem, according to the report, is the way that manpower is organized. That manpower is not skewed to those times and those areas where demand for police services is greatest. The report criticizes the historic management structure of the department, saying it has been too highly centralized so that middle managers have not been motivated to accept responsibility. The report says the department's facilities are overcrowded and poorly maintained, while saying police salaries are too low. The report said the department had to overcome some of its ghosts, like the MOVE confrontation in May of 1985, and the convictions of 31 former police officers, including the late Deputy Superintendent James Martin, on charges of corruption. Quoting the report, the dead hand of past traditions guides the department rather than the challenge of the future. Tonight, Action News reporter Mark Howard was at police headquarters where he saw some of the problems pointed out in the report firsthand. Mark's tour guide was the commissioner himself.
After a break for some dinner and a mile-and-a-half jog, Commissioner Tucker was back at headquarters tonight. He showed me some of the specifics in the report. Narcotics officer Tom Smith typing a report on an old manual typewriter. Work, the report says, should be done by a secretary so Smith could be out catching criminals. The file room, 1 million or so cards, which Tucker says must be replaced by computers. When it was built in the early 60s, the Philadelphia Police Administration Building, known affectionately as the Roundhouse, was one of the most modern, up-to-date police administration buildings in the country. That was 25 years ago. Today, it's pretty much an antique. Detective Igor Alfino is typing tonight on his own typewriter. The commissioner has mixed feelings about seeing that.
I was proud that he had enough pride that he brought in his own typewriter because he had pride that he wants to do a good job and he wants to be efficient and effective. And obviously, personally, I think it's my responsibility to see that he has the equipment that he needs to do, that he needs to do the job.
A big issue in all of this, of course, is money. Commissioner Tucker says the report shows the public support is there.
I was very interested in the attitude survey, that 82% of the people polled indicated that they would support a tax increase for police services.
But the big question tonight is, will City Hall back up the commissioner and his report?
I mean, how strongly do you feel about saying, look, this has got to be done or you got to get somebody else to run this place?
No, I don't want to go down that road right now. You know, I have confidence that that council, the mayor, others will read this document, see this in the best interest of the city, the people, the police department, and will provide it the support necessary.
Commissioner Tucker will spend tonight, as he does all weeknights, living alone in a one-bedroom apartment here at Penn's Landing. His family's in Medford, New Jersey. But if the next mayor keeps him on as commissioner, he'll move to Philadelphia permanently with only one professional goal, and that is to bring the Philadelphia Police Department into the 20th century. Mark Howard, Channel 6 Action News, Penn's Landing.
Despite the serious problems outlined by the report, the task force also found that 70% of all Philadelphians feel good about the police. The report says Philadelphians should feel far less satisfied with the performance of their men and women in blue. Because we are in the campaign season, it's inevitable that a report like this becomes a political football. Mayor Wilson Goode, who supports the report, blames the problems of the department on former Mayor and Police Commissioner Frank Rizzo. Ed Rendell says no one should forget that as managing director and mayor, Wilson Goode has been in charge of the police department for 6 of the last 7 years. Rendell also praised Commissioner Tucker and called for more cops on the street. Frank Rizzo says he looks at the report in a positive manner. Rizzo also blames the department's problems on Wilson Goode. John Egan claims the police department has been victimized by mismanagement by both Frank Rizzo and Wilson Goode. Police Commissioner Tucker says this is not a political issue. It is a police issue. Now let's get on with making the essential